Um, she is asking if astrology is foretelling new economic processes. And what do you think about that?
Um,
Globally.
Globally, yeah. Astrology explains how trends, fashions, and attitudes change from time to time.
Astrologija razkriva, kako se trendi občasno spreminjajo, ne trendi, vrednote, stališča ljudi, kako se to skozi čas spreminja.
So obviously, economists think they have a system that will not change.
Ekonomisti pa mislijo, da imajo sisteme, ki se ne bodo nikoli spremenili.
And this is why we have booms and busts in the economy.
In to je zaradi tega imamo velike vzpone in padce v ekonomiji.
What my talk was trying to show was how we can anticipate.
Jaz sem poskušal v svojem predavanju pokazati, kako to lahko predvidimo, kdaj se bo to zgodilo.
And therefore avoid these things or make it easier to deal with these things.
In se takim rečem tudi izognemo oziroma se lažje spopadamo s takimi preobrati, spremembami.
S kakšnimi izzivi se bo srečala Slovenija? Just for short.
What are the challenges which Slovenia is going to face?
Slovenia shares similar challenges to the rest of the world.
Slovenija deli izzive z večino drugega sveta.
But particularly anything that was not properly organised when the country was founded in 1991.
Še zlasti vse, kar ni bilo dovolj dobro organizirano, takrat, ko se država se rodila leta 1991, ko je bila ustanovljena.
Will be really deeply tested over the next 3 to 4 years.
Vse to bo res postavljeno pred močno preizkušnjo v naslednjih 3 do 4 letih.
Yeah. It's not, I mean, how, I was trying to say in my talk, how Slovenia deals with these problems. Go on. Yeah, go on. How Slovenia deals with these problems.
Torej, kako Slovenija rešuje te probleme?
Could be a lesson to other countries.
To bi bila lahko lekcija drugim državam.
Just as in 1991 when the country was founded.
Tako kot je bilo takrat, ko je bila država ustanovljena leta 1991.
It avoided disasters that happened in the rest of Yugoslavia.
Takrat se je Slovenija izognila zelo hudim težavam, ki so se pripetile v preostanku tedanje Jugoslavije.
So if it works well and if it cares for the needs of its people.
Če bo Slovenija skrbela za potrebe svojih ljudi,
it could be just as successful in averting really difficult problems in the world crisis that we face.
Bi lahko tudi v teh prihodnjih letih se zares izognila res tistim hudim problemom, ki jih preostanek sveta, ki se nekako pričakujejo za svet v teh prihodnjih letih.
Samo še nekaj. Rada bi vprašala, kdaj se bo ta svetovna kriza končala, kdaj nekako predvidevajo astrologi, da bi se ta svetovna gospodarska kriza končala?
What do you think, when do astrologers expect the end of the world crisis, economic crisis?
In order to solve this crisis,
da bi lahko rešili to krizo,
we have to change the assumptions that the world economy is based on.
Je treba v globalu spremeniti predpostavke, na katerih temelji svetovna ekonomija.
The solution is not growth and consumption.
Rešitev ni v nenehni rasti in potrošništvu.
So if we try to speculate,
če poskušamo špekulirati
and compete
in tekmovati
and avoid,
in se izogibati,
the crisis will get worse and worse.
In se temu samo izogibati, se bo kriza samo stopnjevala. Ne bo nikoli izboljšanja.
But if we change and start cooperating together,
če pa se spremenimo in začnemo zares sodelovati,
as people in our ordinary lives,
Tako kot ljudje v našem, tako kot v vsakdanjem življenju delamo.
and between nations as well,
Da bi tudi to se dogajalo med narodi
and in our relationship with the ecology of the planet,
in v našem odnosu do ekologije planeta,
we will find there is plenty for everyone,
bomo ugotovili, da je za vse dovolj
and the crisis will be over.
in krize bo konec.
But, you know, what I was trying to say was that when Pluto, when we get that conjunction in 2020,
Gotovo sem opozoriti na to konjunkcijo v Kozorogu, ki se bo pripetila leta 2020.
we will know whether we have it right or wrong.
Takrat bomo ugotovili, ali smo na pravi poti ali smo bili na napačni poti.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ja. Ja.
Hello everybody. Greetings from the United Kingdom. It's wonderful to be here.
Pozdrav iz Velike Britanije, super je biti tukaj.
And many thanks to Bern and the other conference organisers for all their help.
Najlepša hvala Bernu in drugim organizatorjem za vso njihovo pomoč.
And especially to Emma for translating.
Še posebej Emi.
Emma, could you translate
Ja.
the...
Svetovna ekonomija in astrocikli med 1979 in 2024. Finančni astrologi so predvideli globalno krizo leta 2008 že več let vnaprej. Roy bo razložil, kako je bilo to možno in bo interpretiral, razložil astrocikle do leta 2024, da bi ugotovil, ali bo svetovna ekonomska politika od 2008 naprej lahko uredila, razrešila to krizo ali zgolj zakasnila ali jo celo poslabšala. Poseben poudarek bo dal na karto Slovenije, ki je bila ustanovljena leta 1991.
we will try to keep explanations short and keep you interested.
Razlagali bomo na kratko. Ja.
There we go. These two books, if you read English, have much of the information I'm going to talk about today.
V teh dveh knjigah, to je za tiste, ki znate angleško, je veliko podrobnejših informacij v zvezi s tem, o čemer bom govoril danes.
The blue one, written in between 2003 and 2007,
Modra, ki je bila napisana med leti 2003 in 2007,
describes the importance of astrology and answers its critics.
opisuje pomembnost astrologije in odgovarja njenim kritikom.
How we could use astrology to understand academic studies better,
Kaže tudi, kako bi mi lahko sami uporabili astrologijo, da bi bolje razumeli akademske študije
and help in economics, business, law and education.
in pomagali v ekonomiji, poslovnosti, gospodarstvu, pravu in izobraževanju.
One chapter even anticipates the 2008 economic crisis.
V enem poglavju je celo predvid ekonomske krize leta 2008.
The Green Book was written early 2009
Zelena knjiga je bila napisana v zgodaj leta 2009
and uses astrology to look deeply into the causes and cures of the crisis.
in s pomočjo astrologije poglobno obravnava vzroke in možne načine reševanja krize.
We will be talking about this today.
O tem bomo danes govorili.
Now, if you wish, you can download all the slides I am going to show you today.
Vse slajde, ki jih bomo danes videli, lahko downloadate, ne poznam boljše slovenske besede.
You understand?
Yeah, I just made the joke because we all speak English, you know, we say download.
The address is there.
Naslov je pa tamle gor.
If you write down that address,
Samo prepišite ga.
then you can study these charts, and they mean just as much in Slovenian as they do in English.
Ja, te karte pač so univerzalne, boste razumeli tudi, če govorite samo slovensko.
Wrong way. Here we go. Now this is the order of the talk. These are the subjects I want to cover. Maybe you should quickly
Ja, to je
translate
vrstni
those.
red.
To je vrstni red tega, kar bomo obravnaval, točke, a ne. Prva je osnova astroekonomije, druga je, točka B je astrološka osnova modernega kapitalizma, točka C, nemoč, failure oziroma propad, neuspeh, a ne, tržnega kapitalizma, prodaja preteklosti, točka D, neuspeh tržnega kapitalizma, prodaja sedanjosti, točka E, neuspeh tržnega kapitalizma, prodaja prihodnosti, točka F, 2008 do 2011, astrologija izogibanja realnosti, točka G, astrologija soočanja z realnostjo, točka H, astrologija implikacij, torej kaj vse to pomeni za Slovenijo.
Right. Now, to start with then, the basis of astroeconomics. People living through a particular time... Go on.
Torej, točka A, osnova astroekonomije. Ljudje, ki živijo v določenem obdobju zgodovine,
either think their time is the best and the cleverest and will last and improve forever.
Mislijo ali to, da je njihov čas najboljši in da se pač najboljši v vsem in da je edino možno to, da traja večno in da se samo še izboljšuje.
Or the opposite, that the good old days, as we call them in England, were the best.
Ali pa ravno nasprotno, da so bili stari dobri časi, kot jim pravimo mi Angleži, najboljši.
As astrologers, we all know that both ways of looking at the world are wrong.
Kot astrologi vemo, da so obe stališči napačni.
We know that fashions, events and attitudes change regularly according to predictable patterns.
Vemo, da se svetovni trendi, dogajanja, stališča in podobno redno spreminjajo glede na predvidljive vzorce.
We know this because we understand the astro events that represent these changes.
To vemo, ker razumemo, da astrodogodki, to vemo, ker poznamo astrodogodke, ki predstavljajo te spremembe.
On this slide is all the information you need to describe the history of the world since the Neptune-Pluto conjunction in the late 19th century until 2025.
Na tem slajdu imamo vse informacije, ki jih rabimo, da bi opisali zgodovino sveta od konjunkcije Plutona z Neptunom v poznem 19. stoletju pa vse do leta 2025.
Each of these 30-degree signs is a sign of the zodiac: Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Pisces, etc.
Ja, vsakih 30 stopinj predstavlja eno zodiakalno znamenje po vrsti dol. Od ovna, bika, dvojčka naprej.
When the lines cross,
kjer se linije križajo, so v konjunkciji.
Yeah. Now, yes, right. The Saturn-Pluto conjunction. Where's that one?
Konjunkcija Saturna in Plutona.
Pluto, yeah. Saturn-Pluto conjunction 1914.
Leta 1914.
Yeah. The Saturn-Pluto conjunction 1914, beginning of World War I.
Na začetku Prve svetovne vojne je to, ne?
The Uranus-Pluto conjunction in 1966, the Revolution of Love.
Konjunkcija Urana s Plutonom leta 1966, revolucija ljubezni.
The 1989
seksualna revolucija.
Energy, which was led to the foundation of Slovenia in the early 1990s. Yeah, I'm sorry, that's not there, is it?
Okay. So, sorry. Can you repeat this, please?
Yeah, the 1989 conjunction between Saturn, Uranus and Neptune was the end of the Soviet system and the foundation of Slovenia.
Ja, konjunkcija Saturna, Urana in Neptuna v letu 1989 označuje konec sovjetskega sistema, torej komunizma, in je tudi osnova za to, kar se je dogajalo kasneje v Sloveniji.
And the Copenhagen summit even recently in 2009 was the Neptune-Chiron-Jupiter conjunction.
Kopenhagenski vrh je povezan z konjunkcijo Neptuna, Kirona in Jupitra v letu 2009.
Of course, there are many other planets and aspects to consider when one studies history.
Seveda, ko človek raziskuje zgodovino, mora upoštevati še mnoge druge planete in aspekte.
So let's just pick a few and let's refresh our minds about the main planetary archetypes.
Osvežimo si spomin glede pomenov glavnih planetnih arhetipov.
Now, this slide, these outers reveal the main social changes. Perhaps you'd like to read this.
Zunanji planeti razkrivajo glavne družbene spremembe.
You like to read it?
Jupiter in Saturn, interplay, se pravi med igra rasti in konsolidacije. Rasti in pač konsolidacije, upam si razumemo. Uran, družbene spremembe, izumi, znanstvene in poudarek na znanosti in kulturi. Neptun, moda, prepričanja, kaj se čuti, da je prav, kaj nas inspirira, navdihuje in kaj nas vodi v zmoto. Pluton, način, kako... The way always you... The way always you. Način, kaj predvidevamo, je nekako uničen, a ne, in tudi regeneriran, se pravi, se na drugačen način pojavi. Vrsta travme, po kateri pravzaprav na nek način hrepenimo, ki jo rabimo v določenem obdobju. Yes, travma.
And now, of course, this is the inner planets, which show the day-to-day changes.
Notranji planeti kažejo spremembe z dneva v dan.
And if you like to read
ja, kreativno sonce in reflektivna luna, lunarni cikli, polne prazne lune in pač lunini krajci ter lunini mrki, potem Merkur, novice, informacije, spremembe v hitrosti, še zlasti retrogradna in direktne postaje. Venera, kako se na nekoga navežemo, kako čutimo lastništvo, strah pred izgubo, in tudi kako cenimo tisto, kar imamo, in pa povezanost z dobički. Retrogradna kaže težavo dati od sebe tisto, kar imamo. Mars, dinamični fokus na eksaktno točno dejanje, pa tudi nepotrpežljivost. Impatience to join the action.
Need some help?
Yes. Impatience to act, to try to join the action, torej nepotrpežljivo delovanje, da bi se pridružili čim prej, ne? Kako upravljamo s tveganjem? Retrogradni vzorec pa tržna konsolidacija.
These are really all trading terms, yeah?
Yes, to so pač termini, ki so povezani tudi z trgovanjem.
So now let's apply these concepts to our modern economy and especially the years 1984 to 2025.
Zdaj bomo te koncepte aplicirali na sodobnost in še zlasti na leta med 1984 in 2025.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the basis of modern capitalism, if you'd like, just read the heading.
Astrološki temelji sodobnega kapitalizma.
And now, Britain sired modern capitalism through its colonial ambitions.
Britanija je bila začetnica sodobnega kapitalizma zaradi svojih kolonialnih ambicij.
At the end of the 17th century, it raised money to finance its navy by borrowing from the public at an agreed interest rate.
Na koncu 17. stoletja je dvignila denar, da bi financirala svojo mornarico, tako da si je izposojala od ljudi po neki dogovorjeni obrestni meri.
It and all other governments and institutions and companies
Tako ona kot tudi druge vlade ter institucije in firme
have been doing this ever since,
so to vedno počeli,
to the point that we now have a most complicated system
do točke, da najbolj zapleten sistem
of credit,
kreditov,
debt,
dolgov,
sustained by expectation of profit.
So vzdržali zaradi pričakovanja profita,
which is the current, the modern world economy.
Kar je trenutna svetovna ekonomija.
Therefore, I feel this chart represents the birth of modern capitalism.
Zato ta čart prikazuje rojstvo sodobnega kapitalizma.
Now, this is where you haven't got a script.
Ja.
Look at the opposition between Neptune.
Poglejte opozicijo med Neptunom in Marsom.
This is very deceptive. Mutable, deceptive.
To je v gibljivih znamenjih vrljivost.
What else we got here? Yes, the moon square to the nodal axis there, which is very anxious.
Luna v kvadratu z nodalno osjo luninih sečišč.
Yeah. Also, the moon, the Sun, Pluto, Jupiter conjunction in Leo, the urge to take risks, to speculate.
Ta konjunkcija Jupitra, Sonca in Plutona v Levu kaže nujo, eno močno potrebo po špekuliranju.
Over-optimism.
Pretiranem optimizmu.
Similarly, the Venus-Uranus conjunction in the 8th house in Gemini.
Podobno tudi ta konjunkcija Venere in Urana v 8. hiši v Dvojčkih.
Yeah, constant changes of the news keeps on changing.
Informacije, vesti se nenehno spreminjajo.
In fact, the commentators on the financial markets
Komentatorji finančnih trgov
tend to look at what happens every day,
gledajo, kaj se dogaja, opazujejo, kaj se vsak dan dogaja,
then make up their own reasons for it.
potem pa si izmislijo razloge za to, lastne
This
razloge.
is very much like Venus conjunct Uranus in Gemini in the 8th house.
To zelo močno odslikava pač tole konjunkcijo, Venere Urana.
Now, we don't have time to go through the whole history of the 18th and 19th centuries.
Nimamo časa, da bi šli skozi celo zgodovino 18. in 19. stoletja.
It is enough to say that there were many booms and busts because people were lending money and making profit and then being disappointed when the profit did not come.
Ljudje so si sposojili denar in investirali in pričakovali profit in potem so bili zelo razočarani, ker profita ni bilo.
Now, the chart on the screen now is the chart for the American US Federal Reserve.
To je karta za US Federal Reserve, to so zvezdne rezerve.
And this was in 1913.
To je bilo ustanovljen leta 1913.
After a period of particular market anxiety,
Po nekem obdobju izjemno po težkem obdobju za trg,
where it was a promise that this would bring market stability by founding a American Reserve Bank.
Poskušali so doseči neko tržno stabilnost s tem, da so ustanovili to zvezdne rezerve finančne.
Yeah. So, if you look, this pointer seems to not be working anymore. If you look at the Jupiter,
Roy,
yeah.
maybe, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Mars, again we have a Mars opposition, this time to Jupiter.
Tokrat je Mars v opoziciji z Jupitrom.
Across Cancer, Capricorn, which is very significant.
Si rak kozorog, kar je zelo pomembno.
Yeah, I mean this is to do with irresponsible expansion.
To ima veze z neodgovorno ekspanzijo, s pretirano ekspanzijo.
Mars plying to conjunct Neptune.
Mars aplicira v konjunkcijo z Neptunom.
Which again represents deception and confusion.
Kar kaže konfuzno, pač zbeganost in tudi vrljivost.
Also you see the Venus opposition to Saturn and the Mercury, particularly opposition to Saturn, the news that is difficult, and the attempt to reconcile problems, but at the same time the news may not be as it appears to be.
Ta opozicija Venere in Merkurja s Saturnom kaže nemoč, da bi nekako uskladili, rešili te težave.
Particularly as it is in Sagittarius opposed to Gemini.
Še zlasti, ker je Merkur v Strelcu v opoziciji z dvojčkom.
Very close to the position of the full moon we had 2 days ago.
Zelo blizu opoziciji, torej Sonca in Lune, torej polni luni pred 2 dnevoma.
This ruined my travel arrangements and nearly led to my not being here at all.
Kar je skoraj uničilo njegov polet, ker je imel velike težave z papirji in drugimi rečmi, da je sploh prišel sem.
Yeah, so what comes next then? So I think you can see when you look at these two charts and when you study them at home,
ko primerjate ti dve karti,
there are incredible similarities about deception and unreliability.
Je tukaj zelo veliko podobnosti povezanih s to varljivostjo, s to pač z neko.
But this is the foundation of our capitalist system that that is organising the world economy today.
Ampak to je pač karta teh kapitalističnih sistemov, ki predstavlja organizacijo sveta, kakršen je danes.
So now I want to study the 3 decades, well, the decades from 1980s, 1990s, and our present, the 20 noughties and today. Look at those one after the other.
Predstavil 3 dekade, in sicer 80. in 90. leta in pa 2000, pač prvo dekado tega tisočletja.
And the first one, the 1980s, I call selling the past, the failure of capitalism, selling the past.
80. leta imenujem tudi neuspeh tržnega kapitalizma ali prodaja preteklosti.
Of course, from the point of view of the Soviet and even Yugoslavian people, would see this decade very differently to the British and American and other European people.
Vendar pa vzhodni svet, se pravi Rusija in tudi bivše države, pač Jugoslavija, se pravi vzhodni svet, vidi to dekado drugače kot pa jo zapadni svet, jo drugače doživljal.
For you, probably it was a break-up of an old system.
Za nas je bilo to, za vas oziroma za vas je bil to propad nekega svetovnega sistema.
And a experience of new opportunities.
In doživetje, občutenje novih priložnosti.
For us, it was the end of an argument between democratic socialism and capitalism.
Za nas je bilo konec. Sorry, can you repeat just?
Sorry, I know that's not
yes,
down.
No, it's
an argument between democratic socialism and capitalism. An argument. It was the end of that.
Ja, konec prepira med demokratskim socializmom. Sorry.
Yeah.
An argument between
democratic socialism.
Demokratičnega socializma in kapitalizma. Sorry.
And capitalism won.
Kapitalizem je zmagal.
And a special kind of capitalism.
In to posebna vrsta kapitalizma.
Capitalism that says, let the market decide.
To je kapitalizem, ki reče, naj se odloči trg sam.
If you make money, that is, you make money if you are efficient. Yeah, you make money. I know that's not
right. Ja, ti zaslužiš, če si učinkovit, zasluži denar, pa ga zasluži.
If you lose money, you are inefficient.
Če denar zgubiš, pač nisi učinkovit.
Hard luck if you lose money.
Ja, pač nima sreče.
And many techniques were used to create money.
Ustvarili so mnoge tehnike, da bi prišli do denarja, da bi ustvarili denar.
If we look at the astrology,
če pogledamo astrologijo,
we can see this is a particular crucial moment where you have Neptune and Jupiter conjunct in Capricorn with Mercury and other, Venus about to move in as well.
Trenutek, ko sta Neptun in Jupiter sestavila konjunkcijo.
So Pluto and Mars close in Scorpio.
Pluto in Mars zelo blizu drug drugega v Škorpijonu.
And Uranus in Sagittarius.
Uran v Strelcu.
Money is the god. Jupiter, Neptune, money is the god.
Konjunkcija Jupiter, Neptun pravi, denar je Bog.
But let's take risks with money, Sagittarius.
Vendar Uran pravi, tvegajmo z denarjem.
Then you can have what you want, Mars, Pluto in Scorpio.
Potem pa imaš, kar hočeš, to je Mars, Pluton v Škorpijonu.
So in the West, the governments sold what possessions they owned.
Na Zahodu so vlade prodale tisto, kar so imele.
And there was much money to spend for everyone.
In kar nekrat je bilo veliko denarja za vse, da so ga lahko trošili.
And of course, in the Soviet system, the government assets were taken by the most powerful people.
In zato so ljudje jemali, tisti, ki so bili močni, a ne, so pač kupovali tisto, kar so lahko.
At the cost of many ordinary people who were not gainers of the new system.
Seveda na račun tistih starejših ljudi, ki niso bili pridobitniki v starem sistemu.
And when the money was spent,
ko je bil denar zapravljen,
we had a recession.
Smo imeli recesijo.
At the end of the 1980s.
Na koncu 90-ih let.
And here is the chart, if you like, of that recession, as well as the chart of when the Berlin Wall came down and the Soviet system collapsed.
Je karta te recesije, kot tudi karta, ki kaže padec Berlinskega zidu.
No, wrong pointer. The opposition, there we go, between Jupiter and Chiron in Cancer.
Opozicija Jupitra in Chirona v Raku z
and the strong Capricorn stellium,
močnim stellijem
Uranus, Venus, Saturn, Neptune.
Urana, Venere, Saturna in Neptuna v Kozorogu.
And that incredible passion.
In ta izjemna strast.
For with Mars as well, I must have what I want.
Moram imeti tisto, kar hočem.
That destroyed the German Wall and the previous Soviet system.
Je tisto, kar je uničilo Berlinski zid in prejšnji sovjetski sistem.
But it also brought economic problems to the Western societies as well.
Vendar je tudi na nek način kupil ekonomske težave zahodni družbi.
Now next. So what happened next?
Oziroma prinesel ekonomske težave zahodni družbi, oziroma kupil, ja, dejansko.
Right, if I can get this to work, I pressed the wrong button.
Torej, kaj se zgodi potem?
Failure of the market capitalism selling the present.
Neuspeh tržnega kapitalizma, oziroma zmota, pomota, pač nemoč tržnega kapitalizma je v prodaji sedanjosti.
After several years of recession,
po mnogih letih recesije,
came Bill Clinton
je prišel Bill Clinton
as President of the United States,
kot predsednik Združenih držav,
and a new president of the US Federal Reserve.
In novi predsednik US federalne, torej zvezdnih rezerv.
Remember the chart I showed you of the Federal Reserve a little while ago?
Spomnite se karte, ki sem vam pokazal malo prej, zvezdnih rezerv.
And they produced this rather amazing result.
In posledice so bile precej presenetljive.
Is this working or isn't it?
I don't know.
I can't see it. Okay, I use my hands. Old system.
Z rokami.
There we have 1995. This is 1995.
1995.
Jupiter, Pluto enter Sagittarius.
Jupiter in Pluton sta šla v Strelca.
Uranus enters Aquarius.
Uran pa je stopil v Vodnarja.
This is the price of the British stock market, FTSE.
To je cena, excuse me?
The daily or the weekly price for the British stock market.
Ja, to je tedenska cena za
British. Up there, FTSE.
Aha, FTSE, to je pa pač gibanje delniških tečajev. To so tedenski.
And then, see, the rise.
Ja. Graf pač vrednosti delniških tečajev in tu vidimo izreden vzpon, dvig tečajev.
Also 1998, Neptune is in Aquarius.
Leta 98 je Neptun vstopil v vodnarja.
Yeah, so where are we now? What's happening here? Right. It's encouraged two things to happen.
To je spodbudilo dve stvari.
That were both dangerously unreliable in the medium to long term.
Obe sta bili izredno nezanesljivi, gledano dolgoročno.
Electronic trading
Elektronsko trgovanje
and the internet
in internet
that brought lots of new people and their money into the trading world.
so prinesli k trgovanju, so privabili k trgovanju mnogo ljudi, ki jih dotlej ni bilo, torej mnogo novih ljudi in tudi novega denarja.
That's the Aquarius part of it.
To je vodnarjevski del tega.
They also kept interest rates artificially low
Obrestne mere so držali na umeten način zelo nizke, umetno nizke,
to encourage people to borrow money,
da bi spodbudili ljudi, da si sposojajo denar,
so they had money to buy stocks.
zato da so dobili denar, da so lahko kupili delnice.
So the value of the stocks they bought rose,
Tako je vrednost delnic naraščala,
so they could borrow more money,
zato da bi se oni lahko sposodili še več
so the value
denarja.
of their stocks rose.
In
You
zato
understand?
vrednosti nenehno rasle.
It's a crazy system.
Nor sistem.
Together, both created a rise in buyers and hence a rise in prices.
To je skupaj kreiralo vedno več, ustvarjalo vedno več kupcev in vedno višje vrednosti.
Now we're going to jump to point 7.
Seven?
Point 7, yeah, little 7, Roman 7. The development of the internet market highway. Yeah, I've just missed a couple of points out as we dealt with it. There we go.
Oh, this?
Development of the internet. We've gone to.
I wasn't reading for the last
Oh, okay,
half an
good
hour.
on you. Well, we don't have to. You don't have to read. If you're happy to carry on, then just carry on. Yeah, well, there we are. We're there.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. The development of the internet market highway created. Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
The development of the internet market highway
Torej razvoj internetnega trženja
created the impression that the rules had changed.
je ustvaril umeten vtis, da so se pravila spremenila.
But let me show you here. One of the golden rules of astroeconomics
Eno zlatih pravil astroekonomije je,
is that Earth's stellia
da zemeljski steli
always indicate realism and usually a consequent downturn after a boom.
vedno kaže realizem in ponavadi tisto, kar sledi, je padec po nekem velikem boomu, po nekem velikem porastu. Temu vedno sledi padec.
This is the prices of the American internet and technology
To so
index
cene internetne tehnologije,
called the Nasdaq.
pardon, Nasdaq,
Well, it's just the name of the index.
samo ene, pač to je indeks, ki se imenuje Nasdaq,
Yeah.
borzni indeks.
So these are a group of stocks and shares in internet companies like
To je skupina
Microsoft, Apple.
delnic internetnih podjetij.
And you can see the incredible rise from 1998
In tu vidimo izredno porast vrednosti
to May 2000.
v letu 99
And you can
za
see
2000.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 planets in Taurus.
In vidimo 7 planetov v biku.
Okay? It visually makes sense, yeah?
Ja.
And this was the end of the profit in the selling the present, if you like. That's the end of that.
To je bil konec profitov, konec prodajanja daril pravzaprav.
In addition, in 2001, on the 11th of September,
Poleg tega je 11. septembra leta 2001,
with Saturn opposed Pluto on the USA chart,
ko je Saturn bil v opoziciji s Plutonom v karti Združenih držav,
the ascendant descendant that is of the chart,
na karti pozicije ascendenta descendenta, torej na tej liniji, ne?
and then you had the Jupiter opposed Neptune in the years afterwards.
V prihodnjih letih pa je Jupiter bil v opoziciji z Neptunom.
So you had the Twin Towers followed by the Iraq War.
Imeli smo Twin
Towers, you know, the catastrophe in New York.
Yes.
The terrorist
Yes,
tragedy.
I know.
Yeah, I understand. And so the market continued to go downwards for quite a long time.
Torej, trg se je še naprej nižal, vrednosti so še naprej padale precej let.
So now we come to the third reason for the failure of the market capitalism, selling the future.
Nemoč tržnega kapitalizma, prodajanje prihodnosti.
And here we see the price of the FTSE, the British market,
Tukaj vidimo britanski trg
from 1992
od leta 1992
to today.
do danes.
And we see that fall down from 2000 to 2003,
Vidimo ta padec od leta 2000 do 2003,
the sort of end of the war in Iraq, round
konec
about
vojne
there.
v Iraku, tam le enkrat okrog tistega datuma.
But also what happened was people started, when that crisis happened in 2000,
Če vidite tisto krizo, ki se je zgodila leta 2000,
people sold their stocks and shares
ljudje so prodali svoje obveznice in delnice
and used the money to buy property.
in uporabili denar, da so kupili nepremičnine.
So property prices rose
Zato so se cene nepremičnin dvignile
and the market fell.
in trg je spet upadel. Mislim, cene so šle na borzi spet dol, ja.
And people looked all over the world for property to buy.
In ljudje so se po celem svetu iskali nove nepremičnine.
And when they could not afford with money, the poorer people were still lent money to buy property.
In ker niso imeli denarja, so si pač revnejši ljudje še vedno lahko sposojali denar, da so nakupovali nepremičnine.
And the banks developed skillful ways
In banke so razvile take načine, pač spretne načine, ne, kako posojati.
Of lending money and then selling the debt that they had
Kako
to other
so
people.
posodile denar in potem prodale dolgove drugim ljudem. Prodale njihove dolgove drugim ljudem.
So it became a good idea to lend people money even if they could not afford to pay it back.
Ja. Torej postalo je to dobra ideja, da ljudem posojajo denar, če tudi tega denarja niso mogli vrniti.
And you could always sell the risk to someone else.
Vedno si lahko prodal tveganje nekomu drugemu.
This is what happens when Pluto's in Sagittarius.
To se je dogajalo, ko je bil Pluto v Strelcu.
Okay? And of course, in the end, there was so much money in property
Na koncu je bilo v nepremičninah že toliko denarja,
because property prices had risen,
da so cene nepremičnin pač so se toliko dvignile,
that people entered the market again
da so ljudje spet začeli vlagati v borzne trge.
and started buying stocks and shares,
In se je spet začela ta rast,
especially banking stocks and shares.
še zlasti delnice bančnih podjetij,
Because the,
torej
bank,
delnice bank samih. Ja.
because the banks were making lots of money,
Saj so banke veliko zaslužile,
the value of their shares was going up and up and up.
njihove delnice so se nenehno samo dvigovale, rasle.
But then Jupiter and Pluto entered Capricorn.
Potem pa Jupiter, Pluton v Raku, Capricorn, pardon, Kozoroga. Jupiter in Pluton sta vstopila v Kozoroga, I'm alright, thank you. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, so let's slow down slightly. This whole idea of selling the future is spending money you do not have.
Cela ideja prodajanja prihodnosti je, torej, da zapravljaš denar, ki ga nimaš,
there are two consequences to this.
To ima dve posledici.
Either your children or grandchildren have to pay the bill.
Ali morajo dolgove plačati tvoji otroci ali tvoji otroci ali tvoji vnuki.
Or people who have money
Ali ljudje, ki denar imajo,
lose their money.
izgubijo svoj denar.
This is why it was necessary to lend money to the banks so that our money
denar posoditi bankam,
so that our money in the banks was not lost to us.
zato da naš denar v naših bankah ni bil izgubljen za nas.
It's crazy. So that's what happens when you try and sell the future.
To se dogaja, če ti poskušaš prodati prihodnost.
So we have, however, now we come to the next section, which is 2008. We read out the title for us.
Naslednji del je 2008 do 2011, astrologija izogibanja realnosti.
So when Pluto entered Capricorn and Saturn opposed Uranus, reality could not be avoided any longer.
Ko je leta 2008 Pluton vstopil v Kozoroga in je Saturn prišel v opozicijo z Uranom, se nismo mogli več izogibati realnosti.
We had the global crisis,
Imeli smo globalno ekonomsko krizo,
but you'll notice that the opposition between we're running out of the batteries, we need new batteries. The opposition between Saturn and Uranus,
opozicija med Saturnom in Uranom,
this is the chart for July this year.
to je karta za 26. julij letos,
But between November 2008
vendar pa med novembrom 2008
and this chart,
in to karto,
there have been 4 previous oppositions between Saturn and
so
Uranus.
bile že 4 opozicije med Saturnom in Uranom.
And they have all been immutable Virgo Pisces.
In vse so bile v gibljivih znamenjih Device in Rib.
So the leaders of our countries all over the world
Svetovni voditelji,
who created the policies that we created the crisis
ki so ustvarili te razmere, ki so pripeljale do krize,
have said that's okay,
so rekli, ok,
just borrow more money
samo sposodite si še več denarja
and the cycle will recover and prosperity will in time return.
in ciklus se bo obnovil in spet bomo s časoma bogati, spet po denar.
But of course,
Vendar pa,
we are coming to reality as the cardinal T-square and the cross to the nodal axis comes in this year.
vendar pa letos bomo prišli, bomo mogli pasti na trda tla, ker bo pozicija v kardinalnih znamenjih in v kvadratu z nodalno osjo.
So now we are seeing we have to address the consequences of the short-term solutions
Torej zdaj moramo posledice kratkoročnih rešitev,
we made in 2008.
zdaj se moramo spomniti posledice teh kratkoročnih rešitev, ki so bile ustvarjene v letu 2008.
And so we come to the next section, which is
Od leta 2008 naprej,
sorry, go on. The astrology of facing reality. Have you done that?
Astrologija soočanja z realnostjo.
So what I'm saying is that borrowing and spending to stimulate growth is not the answer to our problems.
Torej izposojanje denarja in pa trošenje tega denarja, da bi spodbudili rast, ni odgovor na naše težave, ampak je njihov vzrok.
But it's their cause.
Ja, ampak je.
You've done that, yeah, okay.
Ja, da.
She's got the script. So there's, what I'm saying is there's going to be increasing pressure for world leaders to learn this over the cardinal years ahead. Did you read?
Naraščajoča napetost, naraščen pritisk za svetovne voditelje, da to se naučijo, prihaja zdaj v prihodnjih letih.
In the time we've got left, I can just give you a few ideas on the future.
Zdaj bom v tem času, ki nam je še preostal, dal samo nekaj idej za prihodnost, torej mojih misli o tem, kako bo v prihodnosti.
So what I'm doing here is looking at a chart 10 years ahead from now.
To je karta 10 let od danes naprej, 2020.
Because I feel that this is we have this 10-year period
Imamo teh 10 let, to 10-letno obdobje,
to reorganize the world economic system.
da reorganiziramo svetovni ekonomski sistem.
This is the chart of an unavoidable moment of truth.
To je čart neizogibnega trenutka resnice.
Notice the stellium in Capricorn.
Poglejte steli v Kozorogu.
This is more than a stellium.
You mean, excuse me, Aquarius?
No.
Kozorog, yeah, Capricorn, it looks like, sorry. Steli v Kozorogu. Poglejte si steli v Kozorogu.
There's Mars, Jupiter, Pluto, Saturn conjunct in Capricorn.
Vsi ti štirje planeti, Mars, Jupiter, Pluton in Saturn v konjunkciji v Kozorogu.
Also, Uranus is now in Taurus.
Uran bo takrat v Biku.
This is a moment of realism and truth.
To je trenutek realizma in resnice, stvarnosti in resnice.
Using the SolarFire software, I have studied the last 2,000 years from the past and forward into the future.
Preštudiral sem zadnjih 2000 let preteklosti in pa za naprej še.
We have not had this combination in all that time before.
Takšne kombinacije v vsem tem času za nami še nismo imeli.
So I feel that we need structural change in the world economy.
Mislim, da nujno mora priti do strukturalne spremembe v svetovni ekonomiji.
Now, I'm going to say a few things, Emma, that you haven't got down there,
Okay.
but I try and keep it as simple as possible. For me, I feel that growth is not the solution to our problems. We have to learn to balance our books.
Jaz mislim, da rast ni rešitev naših problemov. Mislim, da moramo uravnotežiti naše račune, naše računsko stanje.
Too many ideas, economic ideas, are based on competition and short-term.
Preveč ekonomskih idej temelji na kompeticiji, na tekmovalnosti in na kratkoročnih rezultatih.
Attempts to make short-term profits
kratkoročnih profitih.
by small groups of people
To počnejo majhne skupine ljudi
against the interests of most people.
nasproti interesom večine.
We need to, and the ecological crisis in the world,
Svet očitno potrebuje ekološko krizo.
even the crisis of the oil spilling in the Gulf of Mexico at the moment,
Tudi krizo razlitja olja v Mehiškem zalivu
comes because we are being selfish and not caring for each other and the environment.
Vse to se dogaja zato, ker smo sebični, ker ne skrbimo zase in za svoje okolje.
Pluto in Capricorn
Pluton v Kozorogu
marks the end of the Pluto in Sagittarius period.
označuje pač konec obdobja Plutona v Strelcu.
Pluto in Sagittarius meant death and transformation through expansion.
Pluton v Strelcu je pokazal konec, smrt, transformacijo zaradi prevelike ekspanzije. Ne?
Pluto in Capricorn, Capricorn is the 10th house sign, the house of the manager of the universe.
Pravi, Kozorog je 10. hiša, 10. znamenje, z vidika tega menedžerja oziroma upravitelja vesolja.
Is that right?
That's okay, yes, the manager.
The manager of the universe. This means that if we do not manage ourselves with real efficiency,
Torej to pomeni, da če mi sami sebe ne začnemo upravljati zares učinkovito
over the next 10 years
v naslednjih 10 letih
and change our world economy accordingly,
in skladno s tem zares spremenimo našo svetovno ekonomijo,
away from greed and growth,
away from proč od pohlepa in pretirane rasti,
towards kindness
naproti
and
ljubeznivosti. Yes.
yeah, the kindness must come from the heart.
Ta ljubeznivost, ta ljubečnost, ljubezen mora priti iz srca,
not from rules and regulations.
ne iz pravil in pravil.
Yeah, I understand, right?
Yes.
So if we don't do that, then the world will be in a very severe state of crisis by the time we get to 2020.
Če tega ne storimo, bo svet do leta 2020 že v zares veliki krizi.
So now, maybe we should, whoops, we don't throw our watch all over the place, have a look at the charts of a few nations in the light of these general comments I've made.
Poglejmo si v luči tega, kar sem zdaj povedal, karte nekaj narodov.
Wait a minute, what's happened next? Yeah. Here you have, I mean, we just got time today for just a short comment on each of these key nations.
Imamo časa za nekaj kratkih komentarjev teh ključnih držav.
You notice that Britain has the sun in Capricorn.
Vidimo, da ima Britanija tu na levi zgoraj sonce v Kozorogu.
China has
Kitajska.
USA
USA.
has the sun in Cancer,
Torej Združene države imajo sonce v Raku,
and China has the sun in Libra.
Kitajska v Tehtnici.
These are the countries that the world economy changes turn around.
Ja, to so te ključne države v svetovni ekonomiji.
With the transits as they are at the moment. So, I mean, we could spend hours together understanding the implications of what you can see in front of you.
Ja, lahko bi študirali implikacije tega, kar tukaj vidimo dolge ure.
But for the moment, let's, where are we now?
Vendar pa se zdaj,
Yeah, let's look at USA.
poglejmo si zdaj Združene države.
We have Pluto. We're on, this is point 6, G6 you're on if you want to help. USA, Pluto, opposing the 7th, 8th house stellium.
V karti Združenih držav Pluto v opoziciji z stelijem v 7. in 8. hiši.
And that's going to be building for the next 25 years.
To se bo gradilo v prihodnjih 25 letih.
And also the USA has a Pluto return
In USA ima tudi Plutonov povratek
in 2022.
v letu 2022.
But Neptune is in Pisces, trining the stellium.
Vendar pa Neptun v ribah je v trigonu s tem stelijem.
Now, just thinking of these factors,
Samo če pomislimo na ta dejstva,
I think the USA is going to go through a profound transformation of understanding
mislim, da bo šla ta država skozi globoko transformacijo zavesti, razumevanja,
that might involve considerable suffering.
ki pa lahko vključuje precejšnje trpljenje.
But it is like a adolescent country growing to maturity.
Vendar je pa to kot neka adolescentna država v puberteti, ki se razvija, ki prihaja v zrelost.
If we look at the Chinese chart,
Če pogledamo karto Kitajske,
we have Pluto squaring the Libran stellium,
Pluto v kvadratu z stelijem v Tehtnici,
and it will also be moving into, as it squares, it will be moving into the 12th house of the chart.
in se bo pomikal tudi v 12. hišo karte.
And Uranus will be opposing that stellium,
Uran pa bo v opoziciji s tem stelijem,
while it trines Pluto and Mars. There's Uranus, transiting Uranus will be trining that
hkrati
Pluto
pa
and
v
Mars.
trigonu z Plutonom in Marsom v levu.
Yeah, so it seems to me that where are we now? Neptune is building to oppose its Saturn. Where are we now? Neptune
Neptun
is
pa bo,
building to oppose the Saturn.
Neptun pa gradi v opozicijo z Neptunom,
So
Saturnom opozicijo.
is that right? Yeah.
Okay.
So things are not what they seem to be in China.
Stvari niso na Kitajskem take, kot se zdijo.
People at the moment say China is an economic miracle.
Ljudje zdaj pravijo, da je Kitajska ekonomski čudež,
But traditionally, the Chinese people used to save a large portion of their income.
Vendar pa so Kitajci, tradicija njihova je bila ta, da so veliko denarja hranili, varčevali.
They also, of course, work very hard for very little money.
Oni tudi zelo trdo delajo za zelo malo denarja.
And were happy in the past to lend much money to America and the rest of the world.
In v preteklosti so bili kar srečni, da so posojali veliko denarja.
So right now they have lots of money to spend.
Oziroma, da so si izposodili veliko denarja, no, in zdaj imajo tudi veliko denarja, ki ga lahko porabijo.
And as we saw at the Olympics last year.
Kot smo videli na olimpijskih igrah lansko leto.
But I think they are selling their past as the West did in the 1980s.
Vendar jaz mislim, da oni sedaj prodajajo svojo preteklost, tako kot je to počel Zahod v 80-ih letih.
So what the trances I've just told you about show
Torej to, kar sem vam ravno zdaj povedal,
is that they could be by the 2020s in similar problems to ourselves.
Da bodo do leta 2020 oziroma 20 podobnih težavah, kot smo mi sedaj.
Yeah. Now, just a quick word on the United Kingdom. You'll see that United Kingdom at the moment has Pluto on its midheaven, or it's got Pluto coming to its midheaven.
Karta Velike Britanije ima Pluton, ki se približuje MC-ju.
Not only the midheaven, but also the Sun, Mercury, and then Venus.
Ta Pluton bo šel tudi čez Sonce, Merkur in potem kasneje čez Venero.
Now, Neptune is approaching Pluto.
Neptun se približuje Plutonu.
Yeah, and Uranus is trining the sixth house Virgo stellium.
In Uran v trigonu z steljem v šesti hiši. V trigonu s steljem v šesti hiši.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last election that's just happened in Britain sees us at the beginning of a massive change in our politics and our whole attitude towards the world.
Zadnje volitve so prinesle velike spremembe.
I'm a dreamer.
Jaz sem sanjač.
And I hope that the new government with its partnership,
Upam, da bo nova vlada s svojim partnerstvom,
which is led by two men who were both born just on the Uranus-Pluto conjunction in 1966.
Ki ga vodita dva moža, ki sta bila rojena ob času konjunkcije Urana in Plutona v 60-ih letih,
is going to help develop a new politics that will answer problems not only in Britain but throughout the world.
Da bosta razvila politiko, ki bo reševala probleme, ne samo pri nas, ampak tudi drugje.
And rather like Margaret Thatcher and Ronald Reagan started market economics,
Tako kot sta Margaret Thatcher in Ronald Reagan začela z tržno ekonomijo,
which the world followed.
ki ji je sledil cel svet.
So hopefully these new men
Tako upam, da bosta ta dva nova človeka
will start a new process that the world might find helpful.
začela nov proces, ki bo svetu koristil in bo svetu pomagal.
I'm sorry I haven't left as much time as I should have to Slovenia, but I'm happy to talk about this for as long as you wish now.
Zdaj nimam več časa veliko za Slovenijo, ampak bom povedal še nekaj.
Right. As you can see, I put in both charts from Nicholas Campion's Book of World Horoscopes.
Tukaj sem dal dve karte, ena je iz knjige Nika Campiona, Book of World Horoscope, knjiga svetovnih horoskopov.
The right-hand chart is when the vote was made in your body or assembly.
Karta na desni je za čas, ko smo izglasovali samostojnost.
But the left-hand chart is the powerful proclamation chart.
Leva pa je izredno močna karta razglasitve neodvisnosti.
Emma tells me she has a chart 2 minutes before mine.
Ema mi je rekla, da ima karto, ki ima pol stopinje prej ascendent na 29 strelca.
Which puts the ascendant just in late Sagittarius.
Kar pač da ascendent v čistem koncu strelca.
Whether that is true or not, the cardinal axis is very strong.
Ja, ne glede na to, katera karta je točnejša, gre zgolj za en zelo droben zamik in v vsakem primeru so koti kardinalni.
I think that it's very important sometimes when you're looking not just at the chart of a nation, but the chart of a person as well.
Mislim, da je zelo pomembno, ne samo, kadar gledamo te mondalne karte narodov, ampak tudi karte posameznikov ljudi.
To study the history at the time that nation or person was born.
Da proučimo zgodovino pred časom, se pravi zgodovino, preden je bil človek ali narod rojen.
Every nation and child is a child of the time they were born.
Vsak narod, kot tudi vsak otrok, ima svojo zgodovino, posledica časa, v katerem je bil rojen.
Now, Slovenia was formed at a very sensible time before severe troubles developed in this part of the world.
Slovenija je bila rojena malo, v enem takem zelo razumnem času, malo preden so sledile druge zelo hude težave v drugih delih Jugoslavije.
Now, this is symbolized, it's working again, excellent. This is symbolized by the Cancer Capricorn axis opposition.
Z opozicijo raka in kozoroga.
Now, some people say that also Slovenia is a Virgo country.
Nekateri ljudje pravijo, da je Slovenija devica.
Now, there's no Virgo in this chart, but maybe
that
if you put Cancer and Capricorn together, you get a bit of Virgo. Because of the intense anxiety that comes from defensive Cancer.
Zaradi nekega strahu, ki prihaja iz tega raka, malo prestrašenega, želi zavarovati.
Authoritarian of Capricorn.
Kozoroga.
Of course, the other obvious important factor in the Slovenian chart is the conjunction between Venus, Mars and Jupiter.
Pomembno dejavnik v karti Slovenije je konjunkcija Venere, Marsa in Jupitra v levu.
It's lost again. And no, it's not. No, it's all right. So this is a very proud nation.
To je zelo ponosen narod.
A very defensive nation.
Narod, ki se zna zaščititi.
With a revolutionary attitude towards the way it presents itself to the world.
Revolucionarnim odnosom do tega, ki se na revolucionarni način prezentira v svetu.
But the ruler of Cancer is in Sagittarius in the 12th house.
Pa je vladar raka v Strelcu v 12. hiši.
So you don't want to tell too many people about it.
Zato tega ne želite sem povedati.
In fact, I've only been in Slovenia now for just on 24 hours.
Zdaj sem v Sloveniji samo 24.
But it seems to me that this is a good country and it has many good things going for it. I feel that.
Ampak se mi zdi, da je to dobra dežela in da ima mnogo lepih stvari na
splošno. And it may be that this 12th house moon is a part of that story.
In morda je ta luna v 12. hiši del te zgodbe.
Now, of course, looking to the future, the Capricorn Cancer seesaw will be tested from 2010.
Bo ta gugalnica med kozorogom in rakom testirana na preizkušnji od leta 2010.
Very soon Pluto opposes the Sun.
Kajti kmalu zatem bo Pluton v opoziciji, Pluto je že bil v opoziciji s Soncem.
But most important, Pluto then comes to conjunct the Uranus and Neptune and oppose the Mercury node and Chiron.
Vendar, kar je najpomembneje, Pluton bo kasneje prispel v konjunkcijo z Uranom in Neptunom in opozicijo pač nadaljno os.
Now, this is not just a problem for Slovenia.
To ni problem samo za Slovenijo.
This Pluto conjunct this area of Capricorn.
Plutonova konjunkcija tega območja v Kozorogu.
If you think about the conjunction, 1989 conjunction between Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune and Mars in Capricorn opposed to, you think about the, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Mars conjunction in Capricorn opposed to Jupiter in Cancer in 1989, all the countries that went through change then have Pluto on that point in between 2013 and 2016.
Če se spomnite, leta 1989 je bila močna konjunkcija Saturna, Urana, Neptuna in Marsa v Kozorogu v opoziciji z Jupitrom v Raku in 1989.
That big opposition in 89.
Yes.
So the whole of Europe's going through this crisis.
Ja, in cela Evropa je šla skozi to opozicijo, skozi to krizo in to se, you suggested this might
Well, what I'm saying is that
repeat.
because Slovenia was born at that time,
In ker je bila Slovenija v tem času rojena,
it may seem that Pluto is going to be very hard on Slovenia between 2013 and 2016.
se zdi, da bi lahko bila ta aktivirana, ta opozicija zelo težka za Slovenijo med leti 2013 in 2016.
But it will be hard on everything that happened between 1989 and 1991 because it's going to transit that opposition.
Vendar bo pa močno delovala v tesni povezavi tudi vsem, kar se je dogajalo med leti 1989 in 1991.
Now, we also have transiting Neptune,
Tranzitni Neptun
going through the second house,
gre zdaj skozi drugo hišo
trining all that Cancer energy,
in bo kasneje v Trigonu z vso to energijo Raka
and sextiling the Capricorn energy.
in bo krati v sekstilu z energijo Kozoroga.
That suggests a more gentle, healing, spiritual transformation.
Kar pomeni spiritualno zdraviteljsko transformacijo.
While we have Uranus
Medtem ko bo Uran
in a T-square to the opposition,
v tem kvadratu s to opozicijo,
which suggests the communication of dramatic change.
kar kaže komunikacijo, kar kaže dramatične spremembe v komunikaciji.
Note also that Uranus will be trining the Leo
Uran bo tudi v
house.
Trigonu z Levom, s planeti v Levu in 8. hiši.
So putting all this together,
Če damo to vse skupaj,
I get the feeling that this country should be listened to.
in če damo vse to skupaj, mislim, da bo to država, ki bi ji bilo treba prisluhniti,
Because it may have some important answers to the problems of its partners.
ker ima morda nekaj pomembnih odgovorov na vprašanje svojih partnerjev.
Now, just in conclusion,
Samo za zaključek,
the chart for Slovenian triwheel for 20. This is for now.
to je za zdaj.
And I just wanted to point out that there is a Saturn return. Where are we?
Želel bi samo poudariti, da je Saturnov povrat.
What's going on here? Sorry, I'm losing myself. Progress descendant. Progress descendant. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, Saturn comes to, not Saturn returns, Saturn comes to the progress descendant. Yeah, okay. Please ignore this chart.
Prosim, ignorirajte to karto.
This is the tri-wheel for now.
To je trojni krog za zdaj.
I meant to put up the tri-wheel for 2020.
Hotel sem pa dati gor krog za 2020.
I will tonight try to correct this on my file on the web.
Poskušal bom jaz tole na webu popraviti danes večer.
So when you download the file,
Tako da, ko boste file downloadali,
it will have the correct data on it.
bodo gor že pravi podatki.
So I will just tell you what you will see when you do that. Don't look at the screen.
Tako da tega ne gledati, ko boste videli, potem vam bo povedal, kaj sploh gledati.
So Saturn will be on the progress ascendant and approaching its first return in 2020.
Torej, kaj se bo dogajalo s Saturnom? Saturn will be on the
Progress descendant and approaching its first Saturn return. This is 2020.
Ja, v letu 2020 bo prvi Saturnov povratek in progresirani ascendent bo progress descendant, excuse me, I'm losing...
Well, in 2020,
yeah.
progress descendant will be Saturn, I'll tell you, you have to take my word for it. You can't see it on the screen, that's why I say
I know, I'm just trying to imagine what happened in 2020. That's
2020, Saturn will, I've got the notes, my notes are right, but the chart is wrong,
Yes.
that's the trouble, yeah.
Yes.
So in 2020, Saturn will be on the progress descendant.
Okay, v letu 2020 bo Saturn na progresiranem ascendentu.
And it will also be approaching its return to its natal position.
Aha, in tudi se bo takrat približeval povratku na
Yeah.
svojo natalno pozicijo.
Yeah, and the Capricorn stellium generally will be much stronger. It's getting stronger, the progress chart, because that is
In v
going.
progresirani karti bo ta steli v Capricornu, v Kozorogu, postal precej močnejši.
So what I'm saying is that the 2020s will not be an easy time as the world faces its moment of truth.
Zato pravim, da bo to desetletje, torej od leta 2020 naprej, da ne bo lahko.
Yeah. However, looking at Slovenia's astrology,
Če pa pogledamo na slovensko astrologijo,
I see it as a country that may well be benefiting by caring for other people.
mislim, če pogledamo na Slovenijo še drugače astrološko, mislim, da bo to država, ki bo pomoč drugim,
While at the same time
medtem ko hkrati,
acting quickly and realistically
ko bo hkrati hitro in realistično delovala
in its own best interests.
za svoje lastne interese, poskrbela zase. Ne?
In this way, it can continue. In this way,
Jaz
it can continue
lahko nadaljuje,
as it has before
kot je prej,
to avoid the worst that could happen.
da bi se še naprej izogibala najhujšemu, kar se
Yeah.
lahko zgodi.
Thank you very much for listening to me.
Hvala.
Thank you.